Part 3. There are 4 parts left. Let's hope that these parts are relatively easy so that we might be able to push them into one video. Don't make that video too long so that I'm not a liar, because last or the video before that I said that it will be a 3-part series. If the tutorials are relatively long, I don't think that will be possible to do. I don't want to really have that like 20-minute tutorial video on here, especially because it's an optional tutorial. Use the power of Overwhelm to win this round. Overwhelm is basically trample. All there is to it. We attack, we have this. Burst spells are instant speeds that the opponent can't react on. So they're basically split second if you play MTGA. If you play MTG Arena, then they're like normal spells. If you play Hearthstone, then they're like normal spells. If you play MTG, then they're split second, just the opponent can't react. But you have to be careful, because if you cast them at the end of the round and the opponent already pressed pass, then they do get another option of playing something. Okay, a battling ally strikes a battling enemy. This means that I have to declare an attacker, he declares a blocker. Now I cast something. Basically, if we were to go by MTGA turns or MTG terms, then it would mean that before damage. And because I have trample and they did assign a blocker, but you only have to assign so much damage as to what would kill the blocker. In this case, 0 damage would kill the blocker, so I win. Use what you've learned about Overwhelm to win this round. Okay. When I'm summoned, grant me +2/+0 if you have another Noxian ally, because they are at 14, meaning that only attacking with Darius won't do us any good. We attack here. Now we actually swing like this, because this dude doesn't have trample. Here we get 2 damage in at least, but here we won't get any damage in at all. Give +3/+0 and overwhelm this round. Is there... Oh! Good to know. So just pull back if you want to give it back. Just pull the card back if you don't want to cast it. Good to know. In MTG Arena, you have to press C if you don't want to. If you want to untap a land, which isn't really that easy to do. Okay, so apparently I did it wrong. That's bad. Round 2. This is a great start for us, really doing this fast. So in this tutorial, I assume that attack orders matters. We only get this one turn. It would be cool if they would release something like... if they would release some find the lethal puzzles. I doubt that that's going to happen. There probably is a YouTuber that will do a series on that. This will do... How much damage do I need to deal? Has 10 or less. He doesn't have trample yet. I'm not sure which one I should attack. If I swing in like this, then it should work. Because this one has overwhelm. He's going to deal 4 damage to the Nexus. Then this the Darius obviously kills the 1/4. Then he levels up, because 4 damage was dealt to the Nexus, and the leveled up version has 10 attack, and he ends up at 0. If you ever want to see what happens when spells are on the stack, you can click on this Oracle's Eye, and it will tell you what happens. It just makes it way easier to handle extremely complicated stacks, or if you're unsure and want to pull back your casted spell. Okay, so if you didn't screw up like me, this tutorial should have gone really fast. We get some points. We go over to the next one. Victory most elusive. Build over and so on, I imagine. I think it's cool how they incorporate the different lore elements that they built up in the game League of Legends to use them now in different games. This is the card game. They're also going to bring out something like a fighting game. Can use elusive unit to win this round. Elusive basically means that only elusive units can block this. We already saw this on the Poro. So we're just going to attack with the elusive unit. There's no way that he can block anyways. If you played the normal tutorial and read through the cards, then you know that is just how elusive works. If not, then I'm sorry for playing a bit fast. Use elusive minions to win this round. Okay, this round we only have 4 mana. I assume he is also going to play one elusive unit just to show us that elusive units can be blocked by elusive units. He doesn't have another minion. He doesn't have any more mana. We're going to attack with both elusive units. He's actually going to block the Poro. I can understand why the AI does it if it's ignoring its own health. But otherwise that wouldn't seem beneficial. But because that unit had toughness, it didn't lose any damage because you always lose 1 damage less than you would. To win this round, grant an ally elusive so we can actually play the Stoke Henchman. Can I just call you Henchman? Because that sounds way easier. This effect seems really powerful. Yes, he costs 5, but whenever you attack their nexus, you copy an exact unit, an exact copy, meaning that if you buff it up, it keeps the buffs. Is that what they're saying? So apparently it's going really fast. If that's the case, let's just go to 3, and if that isn't an insane chunk of a tutorial, we can immediately do number 4. Then the video won't be too long, it won't be too short, it will be just right. The load time is kind of throwing me off because we're playing against AI, and it takes quite a while actually. I can assume that they weren't optimized because there was more important things that they had to optimize beforehand. Use ephemeral units to win this round. Ephemeral basically means that they die at the end of the round. This unit dies when it strikes or when the round ends. So we're just gonna select everything. Last breath, deal 1 to each nexus. There are only 2. We are currently on attack. So if they both would die, we would only lose 2 HP. It doesn't matter that they don't get to strike, because they're also ephemeral, meaning that at the end of the round, right now, they die and my opponent loses 1 health. What I mean with they don't strike, if a unit has 0 power and there is no blocker, they don't strike. That also implies that if they have a strike effect, the effect won't trigger your spells and abilities and use them to defeat your opponent this round. Rally basically gives you another attack, right? If you don't have one, gain the attack token, you can attack this round. You can use this right now. He doesn't have any hand cards, so there's no worries in not doing this right now. Okay, happens. Now we cast Rally. This will regenerate our attack token, basically making it so that we can attack again. And because he has no longer any units, we have a victory. Yay. round 1. Use ephemeral units efficiently to win this round. So I assume that this will be some kind of, again with find lethal. 3 Unleashed Spirits. It's a slow spell, meaning that it counts as if a creature would be summoned, that the priority after this spell would go towards my opponent. There we see my opponent had priority. Now I have priority again. To play me, kill an ally. We are going to kill off this 1/1 because it has an effect that it summons a spiderling. And this has the effect that every time something dies, it summons something again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Have I misplayed already? Because I have no idea how that worked. Or how this is going to work. I know. No, I haven't misplayed already. I don't know how damage happens. I assume it happens from left to right. So they would all die before this dies. So swing in. Basically, only one unit needs to connect because they only have 4 blockers. Action. They end up at -1. We won't have any units left, but the game would be over at that point, so it doesn't matter. Now the spiraling dies, and it's victory. Okay. Again, if I skipped any cue cards that you want to read, I'm sorry. You could either play the tutorial yourself, or you could just pause the video. Most of the times they're just to give you some kind of extra information about the cards that you played. They only happen in the tutorial, so no worries. You don't just get uncomfortable mini pop-ups during the ladder ranked, right? Like that would be really destroying the flow of the game. This will be actually the last tutorial. I was correct with saying it was a three-parter. Is there a different term for that? A trilogy, I guess? But nothing else comes to my mind right now. Okay, so both play Freljord. Use Frostbite to protect your Nexus this round. Again, if you played the tutorial, you have seen this card. You know what it does. Frostbite basically makes the attack of the unit that you targeted with 0 attack. Frostbite can neutralize powerful enemies. Yay! Use Frostbite to slow down your opponent and protect your Nexus this round. So we both draw a card. He swings in. I Frostbite it. And then, as I said already this video actually, if a unit has 0 attack and isn't blocked, not even its strike effect comes through. So the strike effect on that creature didn't activate. We knew it had a strike effect because there was this little lightning thingy. Look for deadly frostbite combo. Look for a deadly frostbite combo to defeat your opponent's units this round. Kill all enemies with 0 power, then frostbite all enemies. Well, that's easy, I guess. Literally, the first card in our hand says destroy everything. So we'll just frostbite those 2 units. Kill both. Also, here we see the regeneration. Heals fully at the start of each round. This is apparently a slow spell, so he could, if he had a creature, he could now play a creature. But since he doesn't have any, we play our 3/1, we swing in, and we win. Victory! Yay. We gain 100 more experience. We get the next chest thingy. And we're done. We played through all of the tutorials, and now let's check the rewards. There are still a lot in the prologue, but we are apparently 72% done. As I said, sadly, I already picked up some of them, so I won't be able to show you all of them or what they mean. These colors down here indicate the rarity. I believe it's like common and uncommon. All of these are also craftable, so there's no problem doing that, but every single player gets these cards if you just play through. This is the Deny, this is a counterspell I talked about. This is the only counterspell that's currently in the game, and that's why this color, its Ionia, is relatively high up in the control meta, quote unquote, you could say. The other thing is Frail Yard for Frostbite and slowing you down, and She Who Wanders. Because Obliterate doesn't trigger death rattle effects, and it says all followers with 4 or less power in play and in hands just get just like as it says obliterated. They're just removed into the graveyard immediately, and because it just destroys them this way, death rattle effects again do not matter at all actually. Enlighten is if you have 10 mana crystals unlocked. If you have full mana, the spell bank mana doesn't actually count. And here we see a common wild card, and I just said it, but green is apparently for for the common cards, and that will be able to make, for example, this Emerald Awakener. Champion bundle. Champions are the things that decks focus around. In this case, we get the Lucian and Senna combo, Chron- Chronicler of Rune. Kill an ally, then revive it. If you have a powerful ETB, I assume you use this, or maybe if you have a powerful Last Breath, so Death Rattle, you use this end of round, grant other allies +1/+1 if an ally died this round. Okay, this is actually fairly powerful for an aggro deck simply because your things are going to get bigger and bigger. Huh, interesting. So this were all the rewards that you get from playing the tutorial. Apparently you get up to 8. There is 9, 10, 11. And after that you get to choose your region and what you want to level up. So tomorrow when everyone has access, or if you already have access, grind away as fast as possible to make those sweet decks. Maybe try to net deck. I will also net deck. I'll try to find a Teemo deck simply because I really like the shroom, how shrooms work in this game. And as far as I know, they haven't reworked it, so I will try to get that back. If I find one, I'll obviously make a video about it. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy the game, and again, happy grinding.